Yo, what is going on, guys? Flashverse here, and welcome back to another video on The Flash Season 9. And it's been a while since I've said this, guys, but this will be my review and breakdown for The Flash Season 9 Episode 1, titled Wednesday Ever After. And sadly, this will be the very last season premiere we will be getting on the show as well, since obviously this is the final season. But yeah, what do I think of the very last season premiere we're getting on the show? I'll say this, it's an interesting one to say the least. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I didn't really like it that much, but also there were some very, very good moments. Now, obviously, just giving you guys my quick initial thoughts on the episode before I go more in detail with the review and breakdown itself. You know, when early reviews came out from this episode, everyone said that this was a very, very big Barry and Iris episode, and I was very interested to see what they meant by that. And going into this episode, it was indeed that. It was a very, very strongly focused Barry and Iris centered episode. I loved it though. It was great. You know, I loved how they had their conflict and then how they had to develop and, end up working together to overcome whatever's going on over there. I really loved that. So the Barry and Iris stuff was definitely a strength. And this was such great development for this relationship. And, I really liked the scenes they had together. We had a couple of funny moments, but there were some cringy moments in between as well with the couple. But regardless, I really, really loved the stuff with Barry and Iris. The concept of the time loop was pretty cool. However, I was always apprehensive in regards to them doing a time loop as a season premiere. And to say the least, it felt more like a filler episode than a season premiere, in my opinion. And I was quite let down by it. Now, what I mean by that is it didn't feel like a proper season premiere. It felt more like an interlude episode, but setting up the graphic novel, if you know what I mean. And obviously, we did have some really cool power traits from The Flash, and I'm really, really glad that, they were not downgrading Barry this season as well. And obviously, we do need to talk about the ending, because we have two big cliffhangers, both of which are very, very interesting. But in regards to the things I didn't like about this episode, we had some very, very cringy and just cheesy, unnecessary scenes. The music as well in the background made them worse. When you have those cheesy scenes and then you have the light-hearted music, I didn't really like that. We had a poor balance between humor and seriousness, and that did quite put me away. Now, I always said this, season 8 did have a very, very good balance between when to get serious and when to have the humor. And yes, this episode did as well. It did get serious when it needed to, and we did get humor when they wanted to add it. But in this episode in particular, we had much more humor than all the serious stuff. And then with the humor came the cringe and the cheesy scenes as well. So that did put me very, very down. And obviously, Chester, Allegra, and Cecile, they just put me off in this episode. But, I will say we did have a good balance with using all of the characters we have. However, unlike season 8, which in my opinion, they've done really, really well in terms of handling all the characters, the execution in this episode was very, very poor because of the uninteresting storylines, in my opinion. But as I said, that ending we do need to talk about. So obviously, before I get into the breakdown itself, I will give a quick spoiler warning because this is a review and breakdown after all. So I'll be going over some major spoilers, which you certainly wouldn't want to hear from me. So for those who haven't seen the episode, this is your spoiler warning. So the episode kicks off in a very, very weird way. Now, I will say the first 15 minutes or so in this episode, I was like, no, this episode is not it for me. But it did start picking up afterwards. Now, it starts off with Tar Pit, who is a villain from season 1 or season 2, I believe, but this is obviously the post-crisis version, and he's attacking a bunch of workers, and we have Barry alongside everyone on Team Flash arriving, and it was just very, very cringy, especially when you got to the one-liners and all of them, delivering something. I really didn't like that. Them lining up in front of Tar Pit was really, really cool. And obviously, we knew that this was a dream because we saw Frost, and also we saw Cecile, who got rid of those sorts of powers in season 8. So we know it was a dream. And obviously, everyone's eyes start to flicker and they all slowly start to die, in which this leads to Barry waking up from a nightmare. I'm interested to see why he's seeing this particular nightmare, like what's the reasoning behind it, because they didn't really say it. But this is what establishes the Mapbook, because Barry is worried that something will happen to everyone he loves, including specifically Iris, because Iris has been through a lot. She's been through the Mirrorverse, she's been through time sickness. Barry cannot risk more. Now, we know this episode takes place 1 week specifically after the Flash season 8 finale, and they're both trying to get used to living just a peaceful and normal life. Now, Barry is obviously prepared for the day, and that is obviously because of the Mapbook. So he has an idea on how the day will play out, unlike Iris. Like, he does hint to certain things to Iris. Like, he does mention that Iris will be having like a big day at work or something along those lines, as far as I remember. Now, the next scene, I couldn't really care less, and the Cecile stuff just put me completely off. And this is what I mean when we had like the cheesy music in the background as well, that, lighthearted cheesy music. That was the type of thing I wasn't a fan of. And then it's being a Cecile training episode just made it even worse, in my opinion. I just don't think Cecile should be there doing superhero stuff. That's just me. If you guys like it, then fair enough. But essentially, by the end of the episode, Joe mentions that they should leave Central City. So obviously, that is what, establishes Joe leaving. We know Joe will only be there in 5 episodes of The Flash Season 9. So this is obviously the start of it. It will be interesting to see Cecile's response to this, because it doesn't really make sense for Joe to go, but Cecile to stay. So hopefully Cecile does leave with Joe as well. Now, at the CCC media, we have Cat Grant wanting to essentially do a collaboration of some sorts, and Allegra is the one that breaks the news to Iris, but Iris declines and essentially goes against the Mapbook, in which in the Mapbook, Iris was obviously supposed to accept the offer. And in Barry's POV, what we see is Barry going for the CCPD director role or something like that. It's a big job promotion, and this was something Gideon hinted to in season 1, so we do know that this promotion does happen at one point. So I'm glad that they brought that back. And Eric Wallace did say that they have been watching season 1 so that they could see if there are any loose ends they've missed, and this is where it's coming from. Barry getting the CCPD director role. So I'm glad they mentioned all of those sorts of stuff. But then we have our villain of the week, if you will, Owen Mercer, aka the new post-crisis Captain Boomerang, essentially stealing something from the portable particle accelerator. I'm pretty sure it was tachyons or something like that. But he's met with the Flash, and obviously Barry notices right away this is new Captain Boomerang. Now, over here, and this is something the Flash normally does. It is annoying, but I do realize it is a TV show. It is for entertainment. But I would say these sorts of stuff work in a comic book. But when you apply logic to it, it doesn't make sense. There's too much chatter. And instead of doing that, mocking the villain, going, hey, yo, what's up? Just run and cuff him. There we go. That's all sorted. So that I don't really get. But I understand it's a TV show, and they want to add entertainment and all those sorts of stuff. But we do have this really, really cool scene where Barry, dodges the boomerangs. I thought that was really cool, especially the VFX in that scene as well. It was really nice to watch as well. But then Barry throws lightning, and then the portable particle accelerator essentially redirects the lightning back towards Barry, and then Captain Boomerang is obviously able to escape. And this scene pissed me off so much when Barry literally didn't care that Boomerang escaped because he had dinner plans with Iris. Now, bear in mind, Chester mentioned something big could happen with this villain. He could cause something very, very big happening in Central City. And Barry's like, oh no, whatever, who cares? I'm just gonna have dinner with Iris. I have plans tonight. What? Actually, what the heck? But yeah, we then head over to their dinner. Iris asks Barry if he already knew about the promotion. And when we get the Mapbook reveal, we see Sue Dearborn becomes the richest woman alive in 2024. And then we obviously see something in regards to Iris where she wins her first Pulitzer from an article called Nightmare and the Red Skies, which I'm guessing is hinted to Red Death, because in one of the trailer shots we do see Red Skies or something like that, so that is probably related to that. Now, Barry does also break the news to Iris that she does get pregnant in 3 months, and obviously Iris gets bothered by all of this because she just wants everything to happen naturally. She doesn't want to rely on the book on how to live her daily basis, basically. So that is what troubles her. But both of them go to sleep. Pink particles go around the bed, and then the time loop begins. This is how the time loop begins. So everything happens very similarly. It seems normal at first, but then when Barry and Iris first wake up, like, they just have like a normal conversation, and then Iris repeats the same convo with Allegra, and she's like, didn't we talk about this yesterday? Same thing with Barry as well, but except this time Kramer literally gets angry and rejects Barry for the promotion because, Barry is just being rude. But then we repeat the same battle with Captain Boomerang, but this time Barry ends up dying because the portable particle accelerator explodes and Barry dies with it. And then we loop again, and this is when Barry and Iris now know that they're stuck in a time loop. And then we get the reveal from Chester that this is a portable particle accelerator, and then both Barry and Iris have like temporal particles or temporal energy around them, so we do know that they are stuck in some sort of time loop. Now we do have Barry and Chester working together to find a solution, but then they keep blowing up, so Barry and Iris, they both keep looping, restarting, looping, restarting, looping, restarting. And this is when Iris has officially given up. Barry mentions that this is happening due to the timeline not being set in stone, because the Mapbook says Iris is supposed to accept the offer, but Iris obviously rejects the offer. So this causes a bit of relationship conflict between Barry and Iris, which of course is very understandable from Iris's, perspective, because Iris wants to be able to choose, not really rely on a book. So Iris's argument made much more sense. And obviously adding on to Joe's thing, which we will get into in a bit, but Iris was completely in the right over here. And I did really like how their relationship develops throughout the episode, especially in regards to what we're about to get into right now. So obviously Barry is put down, he wants to seek help, and he goes to the only person that can give the best pep talks in the episode, apart from Harrison Wells, and that is Mr. Joe West. He gives a great pep talk talking between, Barry and Iris, and then he says like, there's nothing in the map book that, mentions how everything leads up to the moment. Like, there's no journey, like you don't know if Iris is happy, those sorts of stuff. And then Barry pretty much realizes, yes, I messed up. So I really love this idea of Barry and Iris, having to resolve this conflict, having to work together to overcome this issue. This was something I really, really liked, and it was definitely a strength in the episode. So we then have Barry destroying the map book. And I love the scenes with them, going throughout the day again with each other's help this time. But then it got immediately ruined with arguably one of the worst scenes on, I'm gonna say, the show, which we got this like TV commercial looking like scene of Barry diving into the pool. He's like, cannonball, he goes down, and then he's swimming, and then pushes his hair all back. Felt like a TV commercial, and that was something that was very, very, very cringy, and it was something I didn't like. But then we had some humorous, funny scenes between Barry and Iris over there as well, so that was something. It was cute, but it was incredibly cringy. Now, I didn't like the idea of Iris being out there in the field when obviously the Flash and Iris went there to confront Captain Boomerang. I don't like the idea of Iris being out there in the field, and that's just me with any non-superhero. Even if it was Chester, I wouldn't like it. If it was freaking Felicity Smoke, I wouldn't like it. So I just want to leave the field scenes for the superhero. That's just my opinion. But, it's the whole idea of Barry and Iris working together, so it is understandable, but it wasn't my favorite, to be honest. But this time, Captain Boomerang does have a backup plan. He's going to explode the city using a nuclear explosion, and this is when we had this really, really sick scene where Barry phases the particle accelerator, and it was just really, really cool to watch. It was quite chilling, but then it got absolutely destroyed by Chester and Allegra kissing, and then we're just like, what the F is this? That was pretty much my reaction. If you guys watched my watch party, you guys would have actually seen my reaction to it, and it wasn't very good. Oh, no, 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 no! But yeah, I really, really didn't like the scene. I don't care for the two. They don't have good chemistry at all. And, no one wants this. This isn't something just, I don't want. This is most of the fan base don't want this to happen, and the fact that they just keep pushing it, knowing that it wasn't a strength when it was first hinted in season 8 and it continued. they still went for it, and you know, it wasn't very, very good. But then towards the end of the episode, Barry is met with a mysterious figure in the lounge. He mentions that he received a call from Caitlin, so he assumes the person he's looking at is Caitlin. But then when she turns around, it's Danielle Panabaker in a very, very different look, especially with like the blue highlights and stuff like that. So it's basically an indication to see something is different. Now, is this Caitlin? No, it's not. Is this Frost? No, it's not. And Barry is shocked to see, and he says, if this isn't Caitlin or Frost, who are you? And obviously we're going to get the reveal next episode, and that will be pretty interesting. But yeah, Caitlin and Frost have both gone, so I am really looking forward to see what is happening over here. But then definitely the cooler cliffhanger, although the Caitlin one was pretty cool as well, but the cooler cliffhanger is Captain Boomerang, you know, going into a warehouse delivering the tech, and then you know, Red Death comes in like a blurred speedster with like red lightning all around. You know, I don't know if this is going to be the new Negative Speed Force avatar, or if that is going to be the one teased from the Flash season 8 finale. I don't know about that, but we have Red Death pretty much running around, and like she makes this really cool introduction where, you know, she creates the bat symbol with lightning, and I thought that was freaking sick. I'm like, yo, Red Death is finally here. And yeah, episode 2, we're obviously gonna get more of Red Death, and I'm interested to see what we have in store for Red Death and also the remaining cliffhangers in general. But yeah, as I said, overall, I'm going to say this is definitely one of the worst season premieres of The Flash. It definitely wasn't my cup of tea, but I will say it was quite an enjoyable episode regardless. I would give it like a 6 out of 10 in my opinion. You know, there's a couple of stuff I did really like, but then there's a lot I didn't like, and the parts that I didn't like, I was like completely put off. So that's why I would say 6 out of 10 would be my score for the episode. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have enjoyed the video, please give a like and subscribe. You know, be sure to tell me in the comment section down below what you guys thought about this episode. I'm interested to see all of your thoughts towards all of this as well. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.